Greetings to everyone that is watching and listening to me right about now. I have a very powerful word of direction and encouragement for you. Remember that every single week we have these powerful words. These are words that are going to jumpstart your day. These are words that are going to lift you up in the Lord. So remember that God is still with you. Bible says that he will never leave you nor forsake you. He has always been with you from day one. This is why the Bible tells us that pray without ceasing. Pray that God will direct you. Some of you, what you need is clarity in your life. Some of you, things have not been happening the way you expected them to happen. This year has been so terrible in your life. But I want to tell you that God can give you a miracle even before the year ends. God can even give you a miracle even before the month ends. So can you trust him even in the storm? Can you recognize God in the storm? Can you recognize him in the fire? Because the fire will not burn you. It will not consume you. Your enemies will not have victory over you if you trust in the Lord. I have a very powerful word which is from the book of John chapter 5 verse 1 to 11. John chapter 5 verse 1 to 11. It reads, "After this there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now there is in Jerusalem by the sheep gate a pool which is called in Hebrew Bethsaida, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain time into the pool and stirred up the water. Then whoever stepped in first after the water had been stirred, or after the stirring of the water, was made well of whatever disease he had. Now a certain man was there who had an infirmity 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had already been in that condition a long time, he said to him, 'Do you want to be made well?' The sick man answered him, 'Sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up, but while I am coming, another steps down before me.' Jesus said to him, 'Rise, take up your bed and walk.' And immediately the man was made well, took up his bed and walked. And that day was the Sabbath. The Jews therefore said to him who was cured, 'It is the Sabbath. It is not lawful for you to carry your bed.' He answered them, 'He who made me well said to me, take up your bed and walk.'" What a perfect answer. He did not want to even struggle with them. He said that he who made me well, he actually did not know who made him well. He didn't know that it was Jesus who made him well. Do you know there are situations where God pulls you out and you may not know that God was the one involved in that situation? It is God that saved you. When enemies had surrounded you, when you were down to your last penny, it is God that provided. You may not know. This is what Jacob said when he reached at a point. He said that God was in this place. The Lord was in this place, and I did not know, and I knew not. Do you know that God can be in your residence, in your apartment, at your place of work, and you may not know? There are places where you may not expect God to be, but he is there with you. He is the one that pulls you out of that car wreck, that car accident. He's the one that separates you from a narcissist. He's the one that separates you from a toxic relationship, because he knows the more you continue with that person, it will lead you to a place of no return. So sometimes you have to give God the glory. Whether in good things or in bad things that have happened to you, give God the glory. Now, the Bible talks about a pool. By the sheep gate, a pool, which in Hebrew, that name is Bethsaida. It had 5 porches. And I've always talked about numbers, how numbers are very significant, and how numbers are so prophetic. That number 5 is the number of grace. The number 5 represents grace. It can also represent mercy. So there was a reason as to why there were 5 porches, and the Bible makes it clear that these porches were 5. And the Bible says, in they lay a great multitude of sick people, the blind, the lame, the paralyzed. They were waiting for the moving of the water, because at a certain point of time, an angel would come down and stir up the water, and whoever stepped in first would be healed. If you came in second, that means that year is gone. That day is gone. You would have to wait for another year. Now there was a man whose name is not made mention of. The Bible says that this man had a spirit of infirmity for 38 years. Every year he would go to the pool and he would come back the same, or even worse. He would come back worse than before. Now when Jesus saw this man and knew that he had already been in that condition for a long time, he said to him, do you want to be made well? Some of you, God is saying to you right now, do you want to be made well? Do you want to get that breakthrough? Do you want to get that miracle? Instead of responding yes, you are trying to put the blame on your condition. You're trying to put the blame on someone. This man began to put the blame on other people. He started saying that he had no other man, or he had no one to put him into the pool. He had the spirit of infirmity. He could barely move. But you would ask yourself a question. How was he able to come closer to the pool? It was faith, by the way. But who brought him to the pool every year if he had no one? You see, some of us, we have so many excuses. How was he able to come to the pool if he had no one to help him? Jesus said to him, rise, take up your bed and walk. And the Bible says that immediately the man was made well, took up his bed and walked. I want to tell you that when God comes to your rescue, when God sees your situation, when God says yes to that breakthrough, it will be immediate effect. No one will delay you. The man's healing was immediately, to the extent that even the Jews, when they saw this man, they began to complain. Wow. They began to say that, who made you well? Because it was the Sabbath. Listen, not everyone wants you to be well. When you get that breakthrough, they are going to start questioning. Stories will start circulating. Wrong stories about you. Negative words will be pointed towards you. But you have got a breakthrough. Not everyone wishes you to be free. Not everyone wishes you to be free. But I want to tell you, God will make you free. I hope this word has blessed you. I hope this word has encouraged you. Learn to trust God in that situation. Rise up, take up your bed, and walk. Until next time, shalom.